Okay, what's up YouTube? Back on another video. This video is going to be talking about who is Adam Captain. Okay. Uh, if you've been watching my previous video, you already know by now who is God. Okay. Now, we're going to read this one more time because I'm going to have to make a two-part because there's going to be a lot of information to cover. Now, the last time we talked about, we showed that the black man came from outer space. So-called, ain't no outer space, just came from space. So-called heaven, the sky, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so scientists around the world came together and they found that all life comes from one cell organism, okay? And that cell organism had intelligence, okay? Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to read this right here one more time. And it says here that in 1986, the New York Times headline story read, quote, NASA to probe heavens or the skies for clues to life's origin on Earth. September 6, 1986, Sandra Blakeslee summed up the current thinking of the scientific community at the time. She says, driving the new search for clues to life's beginnings is the recent discovery that comets, meteors, and interstellar dust carry vast amounts of complex organic chemicals as well as the elements crucial to living cells. Scientists believe that Earth and other planets have been seeded from space with these potential building blocks of life. And then Elijah Muhammad says that the atom out of which man was created came from space. It was out in space where he originated. An atom of life was in darkness of the space, and he came out of that atom. What came out of space was a human being, the black man. Now, I want to go here. Like I said, I'm going to have to make two parts of this. Okay? Okay. Now, okay, so here it says that day 6, right? Elohim said, let us make man in our image, like their likeness. Okay, we know that. It says, finally, the material, or rather semi-material shell, or human body of God, man emerges on the day 6. This man body is different from the man of Genesis 2. That was made from the dust of the ground. On day 7, this man body was made in the image and likeness of the Elohim or Elohim. Okay. It says that the Elohim were balls of fire themselves, and the man or body that developed on day 6 was likewise of a fiery nature. Not, however, of a white fire, but as the Kabbalists say, a black fire, which enveloped the white fire. According to Jewish, Gnostic, and Christian sources, the human form of God, man itself, went through 4 different compositional stages. That is to say, the composition or substance of the body changed 4 times. These bodies, quote, are stages known spirit or the energy's descent into matter. We recall that the Nag Hammadi tractate on the origin of the world, 117 mentions 3 of these bodies or stages: the pneumatic or luminous spiritual body of day 1, the physical body of day 6, and the earthly body of the Sabbath day. Okay, it says the 4th body is the body of the flesh, which resulted from Adam's fall, or God's fall, and exile from the Garden of Eden. Okay, so it says that as the church father writes and describes this descent, it says all rational creatures, incorporeal and invisible, if they be negligent, gradually slip to lower levels and to take themselves bodies according to the quality of the places into which they descend. That is first ethereal, spiritual bodies, and then aerial, physical bodies. And when they reach the vicinity of the earth, they are enclosed in denser bodies, earthly, and finally are bound in human flesh. It says here that The psychic body, or the body of man on day 6, is said to be made of an aerial substance. That is to say, substance of the black sublunar air or air below the moon. This was therefore a black body. See, for example, Porphyry's description of the descent of the astral body. Originally of an ethereal substance, in the course of its descent, the spirit or energy is progressively darkened and thickened as it absorbs moisture from the air until it finally becomes fully material and even visible. Now, I have this chart up here for a reason, right? And you have radio. We talked about radio, right? Radio. They have humans right here. You see the notes they got painted white, but that's supposed to be black people. Butterflies, the needle point, infrared, microwave, visible, ultraviolet light, X-ray, and gamma ray. Okay? Now, let's keep on going. It says that in man's first three states, spiritual, physical, psychic, and earthly, his body is said to get progressively denser, but it lacked flesh. Flesh is a substance the body acquired only after the fall, we are told. In this psychic or aerial state, the original man was called the Dayukna, or divine phantom. This black semi-material body is also called God's shadow, because it shades creation from the intense heat of the sun, i.e. the luminous body. The body density of this shadow body was halfway between the complete spirituality of the day 1 luminous form and the earthly form, material form of the day 7. Okay? And then, in describing the inhabitants of the islands of the blessed ones, Lucian says, quote, "They have no bodies but are intangible and substantial, mere form without matter. But though incorporeal, they stand and move, think and speak. In short, each is a naked soul, but carries about the semblance of body. One who did not touch them would never know that what he looked at was not substantial. They are shadows, but upright and black." It said the black god has now emerged. Occultist Eliphas Levi, in his History of Magic, describes the emergence of this man god called Adam Qadmon. It says, the synthesis of the world formulated by the human figure ascended slowly and emerged from the water, like the sun in its rising. When the eyes appeared, light was made. When the mouth was manifested, there was the creation of the spirits, and the world passed into expression. The entire head was revealed, and this completed the first day of creation. The shoulders, the arms, the breast arose, and thereupon work began. With one hand the divine image put back to sea, while with the other hand it raised up the continents and mountains. The image grew and grew. The generative organs appeared, and all beings began to increase and multiply. The form stood at length, erect, having 1 foot on land and 1 upon water. Such is Adam Qadmon, the primordial atom of the Kabbalists. Such is the sense in which he is depicted as a giant, and this is why Swedenborg, hunted in his dreams by reminiscence of the Kabbalah, says the entire creation is only a titanic man, and that we are made in the image of the universe. The face of God, crowned with light, rose over the vast sea and was reflected in the waters thereof. His 2 eyes were manifested, radiating with splendor, darting 2 beams of light. The brow of God, his eyes formed a triangle in heaven, and its reflection formed a second triangle in the waters. So was revealed the number 6, being that of universal creation. Alright? So you have Levi head of the Zohar depicting the luminous Adam Qadmon, God, and his black reflection in the waters, which will become his black body. It says this black God's number 6 emerged on day 6, 6 trillion years after the explosion of the atom. This black God, Allah, the original man, went through a 6 trillion year development, taking him from a monoron to a plant vegetable kingdom to an animal kingdom to finally the God-man. As the Kabbalah says regarding Adam Qadmon, the all became a stone, Adam, a stone becomes a plant a beast a man, and this man, the Kabbalah says, becomes finally God, thus accomplishing his cycle or circuit. The Zohar says, as soon as man appeared, everything was complete. For everything is comprised of man. He unites himself in all forms. The divine pilgrim has reached his destination. Day 6 or 6 trillion years later, Allah, the original man, emerges in all his splendor. The black man has touched down. This black Adam, or Adam, created or evolved on the 6th day, is God in his most complete and evolved form. He started as an atom. So he started as an atom. Okay? Here's your atoms. This is X-ray. Then you have gamma rays, atomic nuclei, right? So it's going from this stage all the way to this, right? Okay, here's the electromagnetic field. Black, purple, blue, green, yellow, red, okay? It says here that Mr. Muhammad teaches that the figures 1 and 6 are the most outstanding figures that we have. 1 represents the God that created the heavens and the earth, and the other represents the same, the 6. Why is that? He didn't stop growing. He grew into the scientific knowledge of 6, and when he got into the 6, he still had us puzzled. We didn't know how to overtake him because the 6 came 6 trillion years after the 1. This black atom, or atom, is called Qadmon, God-man by the Jewish Kabbalists, Ahura Mazda by the Zoroastrians, Marduk by the Babylonians, Atum by the Egyptians, Yahweh by the Hebrews, and Brahma by the Hindus. These created gods are one and the same with the black man, who emerged from the triple darkness 70 trillion years ago. Elias Levi thus proclaimed the secret of the Kabbalah. Man is God on earth, and God is man in heaven. So here's black God surrounded by an aura of light. Okay? Now, if we know that God, what came out of space was a man, a black man, well then, when you read those stories about the Anunnakis coming out of heaven, that was black people. Okay? So like here, it says, ye are gods, gods are old. God, the original physical body, had to return to its earthly source just as ours will, but he did not die. His spirit lives on through his children, or his energy, the black man and woman, who everyone should now know as the original people of the earth. We sprung directly from God himself. These original people have been described by all the ancient writings as the divine people with great powers. Okay? These ancient blacks were recognized as a family of God. These are the gods of ancient history. Prehistoric Egypt and Chaldea are said to have been the land of the gods. In Egypt, these gods were called the Neteru. In Chaldea, the Anunnaki, meaning those who from heaven to earth came. Zachariah Sitchin, we know who that is, scholar of ancient Near Eastern civilization, says in his book, The 12th Planet, concerning these gods, they were the olden gods of the epic tales, and in the Sumerian belief, they had come down to earth from heaven. Now, let's go back here to what the science says. Go back here. Lynn Mugellis, in her summation of the fourth conference on the origin of life, said the central problem inspiring these conferences, perhaps slightly better defined, is as unsolved as ever. Did our organic matter originate in interstellar space? You see that? Elijah Muhammad said what came out of space was a black man. So, your Anunnakis are black people. Okay? Let's keep on going. The ancient Canaanites called them the Banu El, the sons of God, the son of El, and the Hebrews the Beni Elohim, the sons of the Most High. We meet with them in the enigmatic verses of Genesis chapter 6, and it says, "And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the earth, face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, Caucasian people, that they were fair, and took to them wives of all which they chose." So we know that black people are able to produce white people. Okay? Now, it goes in to say that, let's keep on going. Like here, in Michael Bradley's book, in Chosen People from the Caucasus, I did a video on that, agree. He says, without resorting to either mystical or extraterrestrial conjectures, we can say at least that those from on high, the sons of God, and men presumably down below were of the same species. Women bore children to them. The two groups were interfertile, the same species. Go back and watch my videos, all 4 parts of my videos on Waking Up the White Man. It says, it is equally certain, however, that those from on high, on the one hand, and men on the other hand, were of markedly different races. The word translated giant, Genesis 6:4, is Nephilim. According to Rabbi Yohan, the sons of God were called such because men would fall, or the Hebrew word nophel, on their faces with fright at the sight of them. By the use of this term to describe the sons of God, the Bible connects them with the gods Anunnaki of Sumer. In Numbers 13:33, the Nephilim are called the sons of Anak, or the Anakim. According to Zechariah 7, is the Hebrew rendering of Anunnaki. These ancient black gods were called the children of heaven by the book of Jubilee, the sons of God of heaven, and the holy ones by the book of Noah. Okay? Madame Blavatsky says of these sons of God, this race could live with equal ease in water, air, or fire, for it had an unlimited control over the elements. These were the sons of God. It was they who imparted nature's most weird secrets to men and revealed to them the infallible and now lost word. Okay? Now, so it says here that, let's keep on going. I'm about to make 2 parts of this. The Holy Quran also attributes the black man Adam, as opposed to the Caucasian Adamites, and his children control over the force of nature. These are the gods of antiquity, the black man and woman. It is not enough to teach that we, quote, we were kings, and we are gods. But this all begs the question, what happened? Today we are not controlling ourselves, much less the force of nature. How did we lose our glory? The fall of man. One of the most revealing and neglected verses of the Bible is Psalms 82:6-8, and it reads, I have said, ye are gods, all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, Adam, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. This is the fall of man that the ancient writings recognize. As we mentioned earlier, there were actually 3 falls: the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. The first was the spiritual fall, or descent, which began 76 trillion years ago and accumulated with the spirit's descent into fleshly matter. The second was the mental fall. This took place 50,000 years ago. This is when our higher selves, due to rebellious living, went to sleep, and the all-seeing eye of man closed. the book of Design says, then the third eye acted no longer. Once the third eye closed, the immortal man became mortal God. See that? Now, let's do this. Okay. And like I said, if I have to make a part 2, I will. Now, let's put this to the side. Okay. And in this book right here, Eating in Egypt, to show you that the sun, man, let's do this. Let's listen to this real quick. The sun in the sky is God. That's why they're trying to block it out. Now, we learned from young Pharaoh that we as black people are melanated, we are condensed versions of the sun, melanin, right? Now, check this out. Okay. And we're gonna break this movie down right here called The Knowing. Right? We're gonna break this movie down right here. The Knowing. Okay. Now, to show you how powerful carbon is, I just typed in Wikipedia what are oven pans made of, right? And it says steels and other iron, carbon alloys. It says carbon, steel. So they have carbon steel pots to put in the oven to cook food. Okay, so it's carbon. Carbon is a steel with carbon content up to 2.1% by weight. Okay, so it says carbon steel is a steel. Okay, steel is an alloy of iron and carbon, and sometimes other elements. Okay, because of its high tensile strength and low cost, it is a major component used in buildings, infrastructure, tools, ships, trains, automobiles, and such and such. And it says with carbon, here's carbon. Carbon is a chemical element with the number 6. Okay? Now, let's do this. Let's go here. And
Peace family, this video is about how black people, aka melanated beings, we are the chosen people, and to clear up the misperception and bring light to the actual facts in regards to the biblical or religious prophecies, as well as ancient insights to the ancestors as far as the end of the world and the coming today and what we are the chosen people are. Okay, first and foremost, we got to understand this, family, is when you're dealing with this science, you got to understand that it all has to do with melanin. Now, when we say we are the chosen people and the Son of God is returning,
we know that melanin is carbon. Carbon is energy.
Back for his people, you got to understand that it all has to do with melanin. Now, when we say we are the chosen people and the Son of God is returning back for his people, first of all, we got to understand that the Bible is an allegorical book. Holy in Greek means helios. Helios means sun. Bible in Greek means biblios. Biblios means book or paper. The Bible is about the sook. Jesus Christ comes from I don't even like to say sun god, because it was all just personification. But we're going to say sun god in this instance. The sun god, Egyptian sun god, Horus or Horu. How do we make the connection? Jesus in Latin is Jesus. Jesus is Horu in Zeus. When the Greeks went to Egypt, which was an African civilization, and stole our knowledge and understanding on the planet Earth, and they plagiarized our gods, which if you read the book, The History of Herodotus, which Herodotus was a homosexual Greek philosopher that they call a scholar, in his book, History of Herodotus, Herodotus himself quotes that the Greeks copied the 12 their 12 gods on Mount Olympus from the Egyptian deities. So, Horus and Zeus became fused to create today who you worship as Jesus, who is the sun. So now, even when you're dealing with the Bible, I'm so mad I can't get this quote in my head right now because I know it. I just said it the other day. But this scripture in the Bible, it states that our Lord is a sun and shield. If you can find the scripture, boom, throw it in the comments for the people. But anyway, it states in the Bible that our Lord is a sun and shield. So now, Jesus is just the mixture of Egyptian god Horus and Zeus. Jesus, Heru and Zeus. Jesus in Latin was translated to English as Jesus. So now why is it important? Jesus is coming back for his chosen people. No, the sun is actually heating up, and it's actually doing a cleanse of all beings on the planet that don't have a certain carbon base. Melanin is condensed sunlight. Once the sun gets to vibrating past 800 terahertz frequency, it condenses into melanin. So just like water goes from gas, liquid to solid, sunlight goes from electricity and magnetism, it condenses and vibrates into physical form as melanin. Black people, we are the only natural people on the planet Earth. Everybody else is genetically manufactured, period. So now why is this important? We are the chosen people. We have been under a rule for the last 6,000 years of an unnatural being, aka the Caucasian, as well as other extraterrestrial entities that we can conceptualize as a reptilian. And now we want to deal with reptilian.
Now let's pause it for a second. Like I said, I'm about to make two parts of this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into this book right here called Eden in Egypt by Ralph Ellis, right? And we're gonna read something for you here, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we want to go here to okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so here you have you have Nu, the primary, the waters, the atom or the atom, the sun. You have Shu, the air, toughness, moisture. Geb is the earth, the ground. Nut is the sky. Okay, I think that's it. Now, let's go here to we're gonna go here to we're gonna go here to Egypt. Creation myth. Okay. So you got here ancient Egyptian creation myths, right? And it says here, now listen to this. I'm gonna go down here. Let's see. Okay, so like here, ancient Egyptian creation myths are the ancient Egyptian accounts of the creation of the world, pyramid text, things of that nature, right? And it says, in all of these myths, the world was said to have emerged from an infinite, lifeless sea when the sun rose for the first time. You see that? So this is talking about the cosmos, right? They say that the world was said to have emerged from an infinite, meaning it's infinite. You can't number it. A lifeless sea. What is sea? Water. Okay, water. What is the Hebrew word for water? Matter of fact, even in this book, he has a dictionary back here. He has a dictionary back here, and they're showing you that these stories in the Bible come from older accounts of different people. Now let me see if I can find the word Mayim, because Hebrew is Mayim and Egyptian is Mayim. And the same thing in Arabic. The word for water is Mayim. Okay? So you have Mayim, you have water in the sea, right? Let's see here. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. This is all dealing with the sun. Okay? So like here, let's go here. So we know that when we type in the word soul, soul is the Latin name for the sun. Okay? Soul is the Latin name for the sun. So God is the sun in the sky. And they're trying to block God out. They're trying to block out God, us. Because we are condensed sunlight into melanin. Okay? Now, I talked about this before, right? Let's see here. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let's go here. Now listen to what the Catholic Church does. We talk about Sunday. That's talking about the sun. Even the Muslims do it. Okay, so it says that it's on page 14. I'm about to make two parts of this. It says, once more, the original Egyptian translation setting seems to confirm the true context in which this sentence should be based. Talking about I am the light, and things like that. I am that I am. And this was, again, it relates to the ritual celebration that took place in the Egyptian temples during the all-important sunrise. The return of Ra, or Re, on the eastern horizon was most certainly a cause for celebration, and the people rejoiced at their God's arrival. It says, it was not so long ago that Christian worship followed this same tradition, with a celebration at dawn in their churches and cathedrals, which were deliberately orientated to first due east to catch the first rays of Ra or Re rising over the horizon. While Christianity has lost its allure and rational among the people of the West, so that even committed Christians rarely attend Mass at 6 o'clock in the morning. The Muslims of the East still trudge to the mosque at sunrise to celebrate the return of Ra. Muslims might be horrified to discover the pagan tradition that lay behind their religious devotions, but their slavish servile devotions to their creed annuals any form of the reason for rational inquiry. The reason for the continued education and economic success of the secular Christian West, in comparison to the Muslim states, is that the former have long been able to ask the simple question, why? Okay, so there are sun worshippers. And when you worship the sun, we know that the sun is really black. So you worshiping God, we know that God is black. Yeah. Right here, we're going to read here. We're going to go here. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, let's do this. So it says that in here, it says this is from the Almana letters, right? And this is the great hymn to the Aten, or the sun, right? It says, "Splendid you, O living Aten, or the sun, eternal Lord. You are radiant with that ray, beautiful, mighty. Your love is great, immense. Your rays light up all faces. Your bright color gives life to hearts. When you fill the two lands of Egypt with your love, great God, who fashioned him, who made every land, created what is in it. All peoples, herds, and flocks. All trees that grow from soil. They live when you dawn for them. You are a mother and father of all that made you." Let's see here. Let's go here to here. So it says the Bible, in the beginning, God, Atum Ray, created the heavens and the earth. I mean, so we know that the sun vibrates things into existence. Hymn to the Atom, "Splendid you rise in the heavens, light land, when you have dawned the eastern land light." It says the Bible, God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. To make them live, Atum Ray gave the breath of life in their noses. So we know that the sun gives off oxygen for the plants to breathe. Okay? Now, even in this book here, they show you that have you ever noticed that they never talk about the pyramids in the Bible? Well, in this book right here, they tell you exactly what the pyramids are. Okay? What Mount Sinai is. When it says Moses went up on Mount Sinai, the Mount Sinai that Moses went up on was the Great Pyramid. Because the pyramid was already built. So it says that when Moses went up and got the commandments from God, right? Who did he see? Who or what did he see? Because it said that when Moses came back down from the mountain, right? And it said that his face was shining, right? Why was his face shining? Because he saw the sun in the sky. And we know that the sun, if you are a melanated being, if you are a being of melanin, it changes your form. Just like with Jesus on the Mount Transfiguration on the Mount, he said his face was shining like the sun because Jesus was black. He was a carbonated person, a carbonated being. Okay? Now, let's do this. Let's put this to the side. Let's put it to the side and let's go here. Let's go back here.
We have to understand there's nothing spooky about it. The reptilian is just a green humanoid entity which has a low carbon base. How do we prove this? That you can be green and have melanin? Plants have melanin, aka it's called chlorophyll. The only difference between human and plant, or black people and plant melanin, is magnesium and iron. We have the same chemical compositions as plants, except we have iron and they have magnesium. Iron in us, along with our chemical formula, creates melanin. Magnesium in plants, along with this chemical formula, creates chlorophyll. So if we were to switch chlorophyll and iron, we would have chlorophyll and they would have the melanin that we have. So we the same thing. Now why is it important? Also, reptiles, cobras, have melanin. Cobras also have pineal glands and can meditate. So now we're dealing with a reptilian. That is just a green, let's say reptoid. We call it a reptilian because it's green like a reptile, but it's a humanoid being which is mostly made up of which mostly has a genetic lineage from reptilian DNA, and it's green due to it having a low carbon base. You can be any color except for white. White is the only unnatural color. This is why there are no natural, colors, let's say, in a galaxy, in a cosmos that are white. When you're dealing with the color of the rainbow, white is not included in it. It goes from red to purple. There is no white. White is the color of illusion. So you can
like with the electromagnetic spectrum, right? Electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, when you're dealing with the sun, okay, the sun is the soul. The soul is God. And if you are a melanated person, you are connected to the sun. Okay? You are connected to the sun. So it says the sun gives off oxygen. Okay? Ultraviolet light, right? So we typed in the word soul. It says soul is Latin name for sun, right? You can go down here. The Latin name for soul is sun. It is not, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay? The English weekday name for Sunday stands for Old English Sunday. Okay? Let's drop down. Sunlight, okay, things of that nature. Ultraviolet light, solar, ultraviolet light, ionized earth, day, side, upper atmosphere, things of that nature. Okay, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Okay? They called the sun God, right? Now, let's keep on going here.
be be any color in existence except for white. So when we're dealing with things being green, purple, blue, it doesn't really sound far-fetched when you understand that a color is just, the way something is a color is just the rest of the rainbow that the body rejects. So now let's say, example, if you're blue, that means that your body has absorbed every color in the electromagnetic spectrum except for the color blue. So now we're dealing with black. Black people are the totality of all colors. We absorb the entire spectrum. This is what makes us black. So now why is this important? When it says we are the chosen people, you have to understand that our molecular formula is 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. We are now recombinating on a molecular scale, and we are losing 5 neutrons. So we're going from 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, to 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 1 neutron, which means our being is becoming lighter. So this physical shell, which harnesses our true self, our true light entity, is becoming lighter, and our spiritual selves are going to have more expression on this physical realm. Now, why is this important? Because this is a shift from the 3rd dimension, which is the 3D plane, the flesh, to the 5th dimension, which is straight to the astral plane. And these merges are being synchronized due to us entering the Aquarian age. So when you hear all the flood stories of the ancient past, they were symbolic to the Aquarian age. That's why when you see the Aquarian age, you see the man pouring out a pitcher of water. This is symbolic to the flood that's being poured upon us as we enter this part of the galaxy. So now why is this important? As we recombinate molecularly, we are the only beings who can do this. White people don't have the melanin we have. There's 4 ranks of melanin. Cosmic melanin being the universe, that matter that you see in the cosmos, that's not physical but is yet physical. But it has the potential to become physical, predicated upon the thought that the creator or we put out. And then you have human melanin or planetary melanin, which is what blacks have, neuromelanin and uromelanin. Then you have the third level of melanin, which is chlorophyll, which is plant and vegetable life. And then you have pheomelanin, which is animal melanin, which is what Caucasians have. So now why is this important? You need to have the planetary melanin, or at least chlorophyll level melanin, to be able to make the cosmic shift. Caucasians cannot make the cosmic shift. So this is why when they say Jesus is coming back for his chosen people, it's talking about the sun is coming back to electrify and amplify the electromagnetic field of the planet Earth to the point where it's going to get so goddamn hot. Because remember, heat is generated from electricity. It's going to be so electrified that if your body, if you don't have the natural combination, or basically the backstage pass that the cosmos has given you, aka neuromelanin, you are going to burn. Every 57, go to skincancer.org and look this up. Every 57 seconds, one Caucasian dies from skin cancer. This is why they stealing our organs, because black people, each of our organs are individually melanated. This is why you see that little boy rolled up in that mat in that school. Don't nobody know what happened. Because they stole his organs, because white people are harvesting us for their survival. They are parasites, and we are their hosts, and we must cut them off. Now, with that being said, each of our organs are body. If you don't have the natural combination, or basically the backstage pass that the cosmos has given you, aka neuromelanin, you are going to burn.
Now remember I talked to that guy Doug Vogt. This guy right here. I need to hurry up. I'm about to make 2 parts of this. This is some deep shit. Die Whole Foundation. This guy right here, Doug Vogt, this white man I always talk to on the phone. He talks about all of this stuff about the sun giving off a nova. The sun novas every 12,068 years, and he's saying that these events are going to take place. He says 2046, right? This is what he says, okay? And he says that NASA knows this event's going to happen, okay? The sun is called. So he said that the sun is causing global warming because it's heating things up, right? Now, let's go here to the movie called The Knowing. Let's break this down real quick. So you got the movie called The Knowing, right? You got the movie right here called The Knowing. Okay, came out in 2009. Okay, and in this movie, this guy, let's see, watch the movie. Okay, this guy, John Coster, right? He's an MIT astrophysicist, right? And he's examining numbers and realize that it's a coded message that's going to predict and he gives out perfect precision and dates with total catastrophes of events that's happening in the world, right? But then he comes upon, he finds out that the sun is about to do something, right? And these beings that's coming to these white kids are these people, okay? Let's see, where's it at? Knowing, so you see these white people, and look at them, they're always dressed in black, right? And he said these beings are aliens, and they're coming from another so-called planet. And then when they make their shift, because they're coming to take the pure, right? And the sun in the sky is doing a cleansing, right? It's doing a cleansing of the earth. And these beings are coming to take children off the earth and take them to another planet, right? And when these beings, when these beings show up to these white people, these white kids, they look like this. But at the end of the movie, they go to a secret location, whatever, right? And these beings shift from this to this. Pure light. But this is not white folks. These beings, these are black people. And then at the end of the movie, they take the kids to this other planet, right? So-called the planet. And they end up here. Okay? They end up here. And what do you see? You got the white kids dressed in white, and here's the tree of life. Right? This is your movie, The Knowing, broken down that quick. So, we're going to go here. And you can see here, they're about to get burnt up. Okay? See? That's the sun. Burning their ass up. Okay? I'm about to make it part 2. Stay tuned. Peace.